is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from California, Representative Lieu.
Gentleman from California is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first commend Ranking Member Raul Grijalva for fighting the good fight every day. I rise to oppose the Polluters Over People Act. It's an extreme MAGA Republican bill that will increase pollution by lowering environmental standards. It will increase climate change by removing a lot of provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act designed to combat climate change, and it increases the deficit. According to the Congressional Budget Office, it will increase the deficit by over $2.4 million just as one bill alone. So it's like a triple threat of badness, right? It increases pollution, increases global warming, increases the deficit. Now let's just take a review of what we've done up to now. So last term, when Democrats were in control, we passed laws that moved the American family forward. We passed American Rescue Plan that got our economy back on track as we were coming out of a pandemic. We then followed that up with the infrastructure law to rebuild roads and bridges and highways, to take lead out of water pipes, and to put broadband everywhere, from rural areas to inner cities and everywhere in between. We then followed that up with the Chips and Science Act that's going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And then we followed that up with the Inflation Reduction Act, which not only helped reduce the deficit, Democrats reduced the deficit by over $1.7 trillion last year, but that Inflation Reduction Act also had the highest number of climate change projects and the highest amount of climate change funding in world history. This term, when Republicans took control, what'd y'all do? Well, let me tell you. You read the Constitution on the House floor. You took turns doing that. You also held not one, but 2 congressional hearings complaining about Twitter. But it's more than just stupid stuff. Extreme MAGA Republicans are now passing, or trying to pass, extreme MAGA Republican bills like H.R. 1 that's going to, again, increase climate change, increase pollution, and increase the deficit. And it's also a monumental waste of time, because guess what? This bill ain't going anywhere. It's not going to pass the Senate because you need to override it, filibuster. That ain't going to happen. Even if it miraculously does that, the president, his administration has already signaled that they're going to veto it. So we're just wasting time here when we should be focused on more relevant issues, like how do we prevent gun violence at schools? And my heart goes out to the victims of the tragic mass shooting yesterday in Nashville. 3 of the victims were 9-year-old children. So recently, a member of the Republican caucus was asked, a member from Tennessee, what we're going to do to fix school violence, and his answer was, we're not going to fix it. Well, Democrats have a different view. Instead of wasting time on political stunts like H.R. 1, let's pass universal background checks into law. I yield back.
Reserve the balance.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Arkansas.